Yeah, but welcome everyone. Thanks for joining today's session on extending engineering data with the Fusion Platform. Engineering data, whether it's CAD models, bill of materials specifications, or revision history, is not just for engineers. It drives procurement, manufacturing, supply chain, and quality management. But too often this data is locked within disconnected systems, leading to inefficiencies, costly errors, and communication gaps. Today we'll explore how the Autodesk Fusion Platform bridges these gaps by integrating engineering data with critical business systems. We'll show you how manufacturers can create a single source of truth, automate workflows, and enable real-time visibility, ultimately driving better decision-making and operational efficiency. By the end of the session, you should have a clear understanding of how Fusion extends beyond design and into the enterprise, unlocking new opportunities for collaboration and innovation across your entire organization. Let's dive in. So today's agenda, we'll start by looking at how manufacturing data strategies have evolved over time and why traditional approaches often fall short in today's dynamic environment. Then we'll define the purpose of resource and product data and how different teams interact with it and the critical role it plays beyond engineering. And then we'll move into the flow of product data, how it moves across departments and the common challenges organizations faced and where opportunities exist to streamline and enhance visibility. From there, we'll discuss the product lifecycle workflows, examining structured processes that help organizations manage product data efficiently from concept to production and beyond. And then we'll shift focus to the Fusion platform, exploring how it unifies engineering, manufacturing, and business systems to drive efficiency and innovation. And then we'll wrap up with measuring outcomes and how organizations can use it to track the success of their data strategies and ensure continuous improvement. So we're looking at a timeline of a data strategy for manufacturing companies. MRP was really the starting point around 60 years ago. It focused on materials planning and ensuring that manufacturers had the right resources at the right time, which is a critical step, first step in digital transformation. But it was limited to production scheduling and inventory control. So as products became more complex, companies needed a better way to design data, revisions, CAD files. So and enter PDM, which provided version control for engineering teams, but didn't really extend beyond the design departments, which created silos. So next we saw the rise of ERP, which centralized core business operations like finance, procurement, and supply chain management. However, ERP systems were never really designed for engineering data, leading to challenges integrating with product and operational workflows. So this is where PLM came into play in the early 2000s, bringing a structured workflow for managing the entire product lifecycle. And it connected engineering to business systems, but still often lacked collaboration across some core teams, like manufacturing, which is where MES, manufacturing execution systems, come into play with the need to improve production efficiency and track shop floor operations. MES systems emerged and monitored real-time manufacturing data, work orders, and quality metrics, but they still often remain disconnected from the other engineering and enterprise systems. IoT is something that's been recently, and along with cloud technology, that's been transforming how manufacturers get and provide real-time data, predictive maintenance, smart factory insights. However, a lot of organizations are still struggling with integrating IoT into their existing enterprise and engineering systems. Right now, we're kind of at a point of manufacturing industry disruption. We have a lot of tools in place, and companies that have invested in systems over the past 60 years that are siloed, which could bring us to the point of unified cloud data. Looking ahead, this is going to be a real game changer as all systems are starting to be connected through cloud-based platforms, and we'll start to all that connected data will be able to start being utilized for AI-driven automation instead of disconnected software solutions. We're really seeing a shift toward single intelligent data ecosystems that seamlessly connect across your enterprise. Where I like to start is talking about ERP, because most people are familiar with it. It's really a backbone of modern business operations, which integrate multiple functions into a single system, like supply chain, HR, finance, production, sales and marketing, customer relationship management, and project management. So this, at its core, serves as a centralized system that connects business processes. And if we start to break down major areas, if we're looking at over here on the right of the screen, finance is tracking company financials, budgeting, forecasting, and compliance. So supply chains, managing procurement, logistics, and supplier coordination. Production's overseeing manufacturing processes and scheduling. Sales and marketing are supporting their customers and pipeline tracking and customer engagements. Project management is helping plan and execute and allocate resources. HR is handling workforce management, payroll, compliance, and CRM is tracking your customer data, sales, and service interactions. So ERP, one of its biggest strengths is resource planning, which ensures that organizations can effectively manage their people, materials, and finances. And this really comes down to it being a resource data platform, which same idea with different data is a PLM system. So it does similar things like project management, production, supply chain, aspects for sales and marketing. But instead of like HR, it handles engineering. Instead of finance, it handles quality, handles R&D as well. So ERPs manage resource data like financials, procurement, order fulfillment. PLM manages product data like CAD models, bill of materials, engineering changes, documentation, quality records. And the real power comes when these two systems are connected. Shouldn't be duplicated or overlapping, but integrated in a way that ensures the right data is in the right system at the right time. When ERP and PLM aren't working together, there'll be duplicate data entry with staff wasting time manually entering bill of materials, which can increase errors. There'll be mismatched versions if manufacturing is working on an outdated design. What impacts does that have? And overall, just siloed teams. If your resource data and your product data aren't speaking and working together, your procurement, supply chain, and production really will struggle to accurately perform their jobs. So a well-designed PLM ERP integration will help automate things like bill of materials transfer, change control, tracking, and overall help with faster time to market, higher accuracy, and better collaboration. A common misconception is that PLM is a system or a software you buy, but in reality, every company is doing PLM, whether you have a dedicated system for it or not. So product lifecycle management is simply how your company manages product data, decisions, and processes from concept to retirement. Whether or not you have an official PLM system, you're still tracking design files and revisions, managing engineering changes and approvals, sharing product data with purchasing and manufacturing, ensuring compliance and quality, and coordinating product releases across teams. So even though every company does product lifecycle management, not every company does it efficiently, and without a structured system in place, these processes often rely on spreadsheets and emails, which have version control issues and potential communication breakdowns. There's manual data entry, which increases errors, delays, and duplicated work. Disconnected teams, engineering, manufacturing, and supply chain working with different data sets, and a lack of traceability with no clear audit trail of who changed what, when, and why. So implementing PLM isn't just about buying a tool. It's about adopting a strategy to streamline product development, improve collaboration, and connect data across the enterprise, whether you're using manual processes, homegrown databases, or a cloud-based PLM system. Your company's ability to manage product data effectively impacts your time to market, your product quality, your overall efficiency and throughput, and your profitability. When we talk about product data, we're not just talking about engineering files or CAD models. Product data flows across the entire organization, and nearly every department contributes to it in some way. The challenge is making sure that this data is structured, accessible, and up to date across all stakeholders. So if we're breaking it down by function, you have like product ideation, where product ideas, they don't just come from one place. Engineering, product management, sales, and R&D all contribute to defining what the next phase of a product should be. You have product portfolio management. Once ideas are formed, organizations need to evaluate, prioritize, and plan. This is where engineering will define technical feasibility. Product management will ensure alignment with business goals. Marketing assures market position, and finance will evaluate the cost and overall profitability. You have product development, at this stage, the product has been approved and development begins. This is where heavy engineering work happens, where engineering is creating the designs, models, and bill of materials. Manufacturing is ensuring that the designs are manufacturable and production ready. Supply chains evaluating material sourcing, and quality assurance is ensuring that the product has integrity and it meets compliance. If you move to new product introduction, once a product is developed, it must be introduced into production and the market. This process requires cross-functional coordination between engineering, operations, supply chain, marketing, and sales. And another core area is supply chain collaboration. It's not just your supply teams that are involved in this. Quality needs to work with suppliers to maintain standards. Manufacturing needs to monitor the efficiency and availability of items, inventory, and engineering provides ongoing support for design-related questions and challenges. If you have change management as well, even after a product is launched, changes happen, whether for improvements, compliance updates, or customer needs, which involves teams like engineering, quality, operations, and product management. And quality management is something that's continuously happening. You're ensuring product excellence it doesn't just happen at the end, it's managed throughout the entire product life cycle between teams like quality, manufacturing, supply chain, and engineering. So as you can see, product data is not just an engineering responsibility, it's a company-wide asset. Every department plays a role, and if data is not properly managed, it leads to inefficiencies, misalignment, and errors. So managing your product data isn't just about storing information, it's about ensuring the right data reaches the right people at the right time without errors and delays. And as you can see, this product data flow, you're coordinating different tasks and processes across different teams that are involved. And really when it starts to get complex is when you need to track your items and bill of materials to all of that, especially when they're segmented in different systems. Coordinating product information changes across multiple departments requires embedded structured workflows to ensure approvals happen at the right sequence. Ensuring real-time visibility is a challenge, so operations and teams can always work with the latest data. And a lot of stakeholders are busy. It's hard to keep them engaged. So when data isn't connected, what happens, people rely on their old ways of spreadsheets, emails, and manual updates, which introduces delays, miscommunications, and errors that lead to costly rework or production stoppages. So, one thing that we've seen is that around 2/3 of data is not available, or 2/3 of data available to enterprises is not put to work. And while you're likely leveraging more data than you ever have before today with advanced design and ERP systems, you're likely, struggling with some of the areas that we talked about on the previous slide with, managing product information and data across your enterprise. And this is significant because data, when it's unused, it prevents your business from operating at its full potential. It's the data is the brain power of your business. If you have inefficiency around data, it impacts critical business metrics like your time to market or your project throughput. The chaos graphic on the right is representative of not having a platform in place with segmented tools and systems that create product information silos and lead to a data utilization gap. I used to personally work at a manufacturing company, and I experienced similar organizational chaos. Much like what's illustrated in this graphic, each project we had its own cubby where we stored printed drawings, revisions, and checks, and in a separate location there was a folder for the engineering specifications and contractor drawings and bid information. Every time we received a revised plan from a contractor or a change request from production, I had to go make the design change, make updated copies of the design drawings and reference materials, staple them and label them as the latest version, update all the file locations and ensure my checker had the correct version, label all the older packets as superseded, and then once everything was approved, I had to print off new shop drawings, hand deliver them to the shop, make sure that everyone had the updated version, and then last but not least, I had to go update the ERP system with the latest bill of materials and project hours for budgeting and expensing. That process was very chaotic and inefficient. It failed to make good use of the data available, which impacted my team's productivity on every single project. The top problem here is really creating access to relevant data and enabling the organization to use it efficiently, which brings in the importance of setting up a system interaction architecture. This slide starts to illustrate how ERP, PLM, and PDM start to interact within an organization and why each system plays a distinct role in managing product and business data to operate efficiently. These systems must be connected, ensuring that each department gets the right data in the right place without duplication or manual work. When you're looking at this architecture, the question isn't whether you have these systems, but are these processes and data working together in a way that supports your business? For PDM or product data management, are your engineers wasting time looking for the latest CAD file? Are design versions getting lost in email chains? For product lifecycle management, how often do your bill of materials have errors that cause production delays? Are change approvals slow and disconnected from downstream teams? And for ERP, does your manufacturing teams ever work off of outdated product data? Are pricing and inventory and procurement decisions made with incomplete product information? If any of those questions hit home, you're not alone. Many organizations struggle with data silos, manual processes, and disconnected systems, leading to inefficiencies. Adding another step of complexity, if you do manufacturing in-house, you need to be able to manufacture. You need to manage your manufacturing operations, which you can have an MES system. I know some ERPs also have a lot of those capabilities. But really, when you look at this slide, just ask yourself, does your data flow seamlessly, or do you see any of these processes or data as common pain points? Are you duplicating data entry? Are your teams wasting time entering the same information in multiple places? Or are you having approval bottlenecks with changes? Is there version confusion throughout multiple systems, or a lack of visibility for product updates? And what this starts to impact if you don't have a strong system interaction architecture is your entire product life cycle. This slide represents one of the most critical phases in the product life cycle, which is the project approval. So going from RFQ to where it's actually approved as a product or a project. But let's be honest, how often do projects stall at this stage? How many of us experience delays due to misaligned data, manual handoffs, lack of visibility into approvals? It's important to recognize while the customer serves as both a starting point with an RFQ and a finish point with them approving, your internal teams, quality engineering, manufacturing, assembly, purchasing, they're the ones driving the operations and success internally. So if when it comes to your system interaction architecture, if you have challenges with bill of materials, change control, or approvals, those are part of every single step in this workflow. Your bill of materials dictates the required materials, configurations, and specifications. Change in approvals ensure that the modifications are tracked, validated, and communicated across departments. So at this stage, your teams like sales, engineering, manufacturing, and purchasing all need access to product and project data, but without an integrated system architecture, you're going to be struggling with manual disconnected workflows, siloed decision-making, version control issues, and bottlenecks in approvals. The next critical phase occurs during order fulfillment. So this is where all the planning and preparation comes to life, transforming the customer purchase orders into tangible results. And once again, while the customer's involvement is appropriately limited to a few key milestones, ensuring they only have visibility where necessary, the success of the entire project and ultimately the customer experience depends on the seamless execution of internal steps managed by your engineering, manufacturing, and purchasing teams. And so again, if we're speaking about the system interaction architecture, if you're struggling with bill of materials, changes, work instructions, project configurations, these are all heavily involved in a lot of the steps up here on the screen. Bill of materials is impacting your production batch assignment. It's impacting project management if there's changes and approvals that need to happen. Scheduling and manufacturing rely on the bill of materials to ensure materials are sourced from the right suppliers and they're available. So when it comes to modern order fulfillment, it spans multiple departments from sales and operations to engineering, production, and when you have key systems or processes in place that manage your product and engineering data, you'll see a lot more success. If you have issues managing that information, or it's not integrated, you're going to suffer from data silos, poor visibility, which often result in production bottlenecks, supply chain disruptions, and delayed deliveries. So kind of leading into the Fusion platform, if there's any areas up here that specifically stand out, should encourage you to pay attention to Greg as he kind of gives the overall data and process management, an overview of the overall data and process management platform.
Thanks, Tyson. So I want to take a few minutes and really talk through, from the platform perspective, kind of at the heart of the Fusion platform is Fusion Manage. Really, it's about enabling collaboration, providing real-time visibility to upstream and downstream stakeholders, and really presenting the right data to the people who need it to make decisions at the right time in a context that they can quickly and easily assimilate and make those fast decisions. The biggest thing that this really does is it harnesses your data. As Tyson mentioned, 2/3 of the data that's available to enterprises goes unused, and that's really what we look to do here is help capture that data and present it to your key stakeholders, both internal and external. Some of the core capabilities that people take advantage of, and I have some on the screen. This is not the entirety of capability, But, you know, enterprise bill of material management, being able to take a bill of material that may have been generated, and more often is generated in a CAD tool. It's structured, you know, it's based off of the model, so it's pretty easy to develop. You're actually developing it on the fly. And bringing that into an environment where it's not necessarily engineering centric anymore, but it's available to everyone throughout the enterprise. So procurement can, you know, look at long lead items where before, you know, they might have had to wait for engineering to, you know, complete everything. This really takes that out of the equation. I haven't worked with a company yet that didn't require some type of change management environment or some type of process for making change. So having a process and workflow in place for managing change, whether it's change requests, change orders, change notifications. The vernacular really doesn't matter. We're pretty flexible and adaptable to ensure adoption. You know, you can name things whatever makes sense for you, but also having other, you know, in a closed loop environment like this, you know, linking quality, suppliers, you know, documents that may not be CAD documents, linking all that back to the product or project information in that closed loop environment. Having tools in here for if you do much with stage gate and milestone product type launches, being able to have tools for that. Some really nice capabilities around managing your product portfolio. Requirements. You know, what are the requirements for a project? Oftentimes that information may be documented. It may come around via email. It may be captured in a spreadsheet. This allows you to capture it in an environment where you always have access to it. More importantly, you always have the history of it. Being able to manage engineering projects and do that type of project management. Capturing critical information relative to marketing assets. Sometimes marketing assets need to have legal review. Being able to track, has this been approved by legal? Has it been submitted to legal? Whenever you're looking at new innovation within inside the company, you know, what are some of the projects that you're taking on? And I think the important thing about this is a lot of times as a company, you may invest in exploring something for the market, whether it's a new product, whether it's a particular project type that you want to get involved in. And there's a lot of learning that goes into that, and a lot of learning that goes into the decisions of whether you decide to go forward or not go forward. More often than not, if a product or project doesn't go forward, and there's a high percentage of that information that went into your decision to not move forward is really evaporates. It's lost. In this case, you have the ability to capture and keep all that, so you can, you know, if maybe the market changes, maybe it's something as simple as components that you needed for that product were too expensive at that time. Computer chips may be an example, and now that's not the issue. A lot of different reasons, but having the ability to capture that and present that to everybody inside the organization when they need it is pretty valuable. And then a process template library, which I'll talk more about in a minute, of, you know, predefined, best in class. Autodesk has done a fantastic job of creating industry best practice or incorporating industry best practices into these libraries. Tyson, if you could go ahead and go to next. So this is one example of the beauty with Fusion Manage or inside the Fusion platform is very configurable workflows, very easy for you to, you know, if you have a given process and it has a workflow or steps that it goes through, you can easily capture that inside the system and define it to exactly what you want. You may notice some yellow on the screen. Those are really sticky notes that can help the users. They're there to help with adoption, to kind of walk them through, you know, what the logical next step may be, what they need to do. You can go ahead and go. Thank you. we are capturing a lot of very valuable critical information from all aspects of your business, and having the ability to present that back to you in dashboards and reports. This is just a sample, but fundamentally, whether it's a chart, whether it's like a donut graph, a pie chart, a line chart, anything that you want to monitor and measure and quickly see displayed, you can do with inside the dashboard. And these can be created and shared with others. They can be your own. Each user has the ability to have the reports that are most important to them, the key KPIs that they're being driven by on the screen. Other things here that it kind of shows is your outstanding work. If you have tasks that are assigned to you, this really helps you keep track of that. So really just a really nice heads up dashboard and report environment. Then I mentioned the workflow library. These are really ready for you to tailor to your particular application. You may find something that's exactly what you want. You may find something that's very close. What you will find is that this is a very easy to tailor, easy to configure type of environment. So you may find something that's really close and a few slight modifications, assign privileges to users, groups, roles, however you choose to do that, and you're up and running with that application. You don't have to call and say, hey, I want to deploy engineering project management. How much is that module? Autodesk is taking a completely different approach than pretty much anyone else in the industry, where it's not a modular approach. They're there, they're in the library, and it continues to grow. You can see some of these are new, and that evolution just continues. If you like it, assign privileges and you're up and running, no additional charge. Then from day one, this solution was built with integration in mind. I think that's key to business success, is being able to synchronize data between your key business systems, and having an open API that allows you to do that, whether you're connecting with, like an ERP system, maybe SAP or NetSuite, Infor. There's a lot of different ones out there that people connect to. Very easy to do. CRM, like a Salesforce or something like that. Tyson mentioned earlier about manufacturing execution or MES systems. Again, very open and very easy to connect, so that you're not necessarily going to author all the content in one place, but you may want to expose it and rest assured that it's synchronized, so that regardless of what business system you're looking at the information in, it is that same information across the different systems. So one of the things we take a lot of time and work with you on is understanding, what are your key outcomes? In this case, like product or project tracking. So looking at the metrics, maybe time and labor, and how we collect the data using the NPI, which is new product introduction, the phase timestamps. When does it go through the different phases? Applying a value factor of maybe labor hours saved per new product launch times the average hourly rate. And it allows you to really, compare time to market for new products before and after implementation. Another example could be throughput, and really looking at the product development reports. Understanding from a value standpoint, how many additional products are we releasing per month? And then you can always go in and compare that to the monthly product release rate. Business impact, you're going to be able to reach customers faster, get your products out, increase your overall revenue potential, reduce costs throughout the process from extended development cycles, and then improve your competitive position in your particular marketplace. The next one I'd take a quick look at is change management. being able really to fine tune and understand, like for instance, throughput. Where are the ECOs at? Why are they taking so long to get through the system? This is going to allow you to collect the data through, change order completion reports, so you can see the additional ECOs that you're getting completed per month. You can tell how long it's taken to get those through the system. You can look at is there a common theme or trend to why we have a bottleneck with this particular type of change order. And really just move faster, be more agile as far as getting change. You're going to have change orders, every company does. And the key is to how quickly you can accurately get those changes implemented and through the system, and that information available to those downstream stakeholders who need it. Tyson, you can go ahead and go to the next. So you may be doing things in a digital environment. You may be doing things in a paper-based system. You may be using Excel. A lot of companies that we talk to, they have a really robust system for managing change. So it begs the question, which is easier to manage? This type of environment where it's potentially paper, some type of Excel spreadsheet, or is it easier in an environment where you can clearly run reports? You have a very configurable, tailorable workflow. So a very consistent process for moving information through the change process, being able to see what's the status at any given time through just a really quick preview from more like a dashboard report that we talked about earlier. All these things really just enabling you to be more nimble, more agile, and really have the right information available to those who need it for faster decision making. So this is IMAGINiT's approach to helping you, deploy a solution like the Fusion platform. Really defining, what your goals and ultimate outcomes are. Working through the development phase and user testing with maybe a pilot group, and then getting ready for go live, defining what that timeline is. This is proven over the years. We've been doing implementations for 30 plus years. We have project managers on staff that you would work with you. Part of it, again, as I mentioned, is adoption. So really coming up with a strategy to ensure that long-term support and successful adoption. Systems sometimes can be new to people. We want to make it very familiar and very easy for them to pick up and embrace, so you can maximize your return on investment. Tyson. So in the end, what we see through the Fusion platform, it's really modern cloud-based solution, has a lot of ready-to-use configurable process and workflows. We can work with you to help you tailor them. You will, it's not rocket science, so you will be able to tailor them yourself too, whether over time or potentially, early on. Very easy to use. Again, it's a modern user interface, so people will adapt and get used to it very quick. Very secure. The API that I mentioned, open API for integrations. So any business system that you might have today or in the future, just go into knowing that we would be able to connect with and synchronize data. Ultimately, this is just going to give you, faster time to value and a total cost of ownership.